the final game of the 48 hours, 36 hours. I'm not going to say from hell, but like definitely it was a little bit of heaven, hell, purgatory. Like it was such a grind. It was such a grind,
Yeah.
but there's so much good basketball. And it ended with kind of a dud of a game because the Nuggets absolutely kicked the ever living shit out of the Minnesota Timberwolves. They won 109 to 80. Minnesota mustered an 85.8 offensive rating. The Nuggets mustered 116.9 offensive rating. Needless to say, not a great performance from the Timberwolves. Awesome performance from the Nuggets. They basically wrapped this game up in the first half. I don't think we learned much of anything about the Nuggets outside of maybe their defense is going to be better than we thought. And I think that's the main takeaway. Or the thing we need to keep looking at is Denver's defense better than what they showed in the regular season?
I don't know about that so much as I think that, like, I really don't like the way this Timberwolves team is built, so I'm not entirely surprised to see this. I don't think, I think that Twin Towers look was always bad. It's especially non-viable against this Nuggets team who, Jokic can really get it going in transition with the look ahead passing, and they're otherwise a wing heavy team. Like Aaron Gordon is going to run Karl Anthony Towns out of the gym, man. I think I fucking hate this Timberwolves team. They really got to do something over the summer, man. Like, you can't just stick Karl Anthony Towns at the 4 and go, well, you're a really bad interior defender, so just guard the perimeter. Like, it's like, no, I'm going to be even worse at that. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And then, I mean, Gobert's rim protection only really matters so much when his primary assignment is Nikola Jokic, for that matter, too, right? So, I think this is sweet, personally. I think this is a cakewalk for the Nuggets, man. I don't see that the Timberwolves can make the adjustments. Sort of like maybe benching Gobert,
But even
which is
then, do you really want Cat fucking guarding Jokic? Like that seems like an even worse
no,
idea. Like
but
because Jokic put him in a spin cycle yesterday, and it was absurd. It was like watching a fat doughy Hakeem Olajuwon against like some washed up 37-year-old journeyman center in like a mid March game.
all right, well, let me say this. Firstly, I don't think the Wolves are going to win the series no matter what they do, right? But
Yeah,
in terms of like their best effort, I guess the flip side is that you also have Jokic guarding Towns, so he's got to close him out, and Towns is faster, and so you could create some matchup advantages that way. And then you can at least match Denver's pace because Jaden McDaniels is a really good option at the 4 alongside Towns. Like, so I mean, but it's not ideal because this is supposed to be one of your most significant players. You don't necessarily want to put him on the bench, but I wonder if that's what they'll have to resort to as the series goes on, even just to make the wins less brutal, maybe.
yeah. I mean, like, look, like I don't think Carl Anthony Towns is going to have another game where his offensive rating is a 59, right? We're
No.
talking about a guy who was 5 of 15 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3-point range, missed both of his free throws, 4 turnovers, 2 assists. I mean, that's just an absolute catastrophic performance. Anthony Edwards scored 18 points, but like, he had a better game, but it's like, he still went 6 of 15. They're going to need both those guys to have, like, to win a game. I think they're going to need both those guys to be really good. And I just don't think either one of them are consistent enough. I think people anointed Anthony Edwards as like this up and coming all NBA player before he was even really an all-star caliber player. So he's still got a long ways to go. I think his potential is great, but like I don't think he's good enough to like carry a team to a playoff series win. And Catman, Catman, just he doesn't bring it every night in the way that you want. And it's not like it's not the effort. It's just that his game is so predicated on hitting threes, pumping, going, and putting his shoulder into a guy that I think he's like for playoff defenses. I think he's not hard to defend because he really has one move. He has the pump, the go, the my shoulder is in your chest and I'm going to push off you and hope the refs don't call an offensive foul. And like playoff defenses, like they'll pick up on that stuff and they'll scout it and they'll be ready for it. But man, like to get beat this bad in a game where Jokic fouls out and scores 13 points and basically fucks around after the first half, that's got to sting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's just, to me, it's a wash, man.
Yeah,
Let's
so
forget about it.
it's so frustrating because it's like some of these first round series you want questions to be answered about these really good teams that you think can win championships,
Yeah.
and it's like we're not going to learn anything about Boston. We're not going to learn anything about Philly. We're not going to learn anything about Denver, and we might not learn anything about the Bucks. But on the flip side, we're going to learn a lot about the Clippers and Suns. We're going to learn a lot about the Kings and the Warriors. We're going to learn a lot about the Cavaliers and the Knicks, just because those are like real good series. All right, before
Yeah,
we
maybe that's just how it goes every year, man. You can't learn that much from the 1-8 and the 2-7. Like the first seed in a whole conference is always a much better team than the eighth seed. Like that's just how it is. So
yeah, okay.